Welcome to the Daily Parks and Rec Show from the CPRS Conference 2026, where the energy, passion, and purpose of parks and recreation come to life. In this episode, we sit down with Ben Dieterle and Colleen Conefrey for our What's Your Story segment, diving into her unique journey from her first job at Camp Mather to finding her true calling as a recreation coordinator. Colleen shares how passion, not a perfect path, led her back to the profession she loves, proving there's no one way to build a career in parks and recreation. From overcoming self-doubt to creating meaningful community programs, her story is a powerful reminder of why we do what we do. Let's dive in.
Okay, I am joined by Colleen Conefrey, right?
Yeah, that's right.
We're doing a segment right now called What's Your Story? And we're learning about different CPRS members, different parks and recreation professionals, just figuring out how they navigated to this point in their life. So let's, why don't you take me back a little bit? What was your first job?
My first job was actually working for San Francisco Rec and Park at Camp Mather. I started there in 2011, and that's my first taste of working for recreation. But recreation really caught my eye years before that, but once again up at Camp Mather. So being a 5-year-old kid going up to a family camp right outside of Yosemite, Camp Mather is run by the city and county of San Francisco. So seeing all the lifeguards there and the camp assistants, I just remember getting checked in at the dining hall and looking at my mom saying, that's my dream job. It only took me about 15 years to be old enough to work there. So my first job was working there. I started off as a camp assistant serving food, and then I went over to the office where I was an office manager then. And for there, I fell in love with recreation and what it can do for the community.
Nice. And so, first of all, it's like, I feel like the most quintessential parks and recreation job, right? Like working out at a camp and also serving the campers that you once were a camper of. I love that.
Yeah. I mean, just being a kid looking up to all of the staff and thinking that they were the coolest people in the whole world, and no way I'd be cool enough to do that job. But
You're cool, Colleen.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, let's fast forward a little bit. So then obviously, you go through school and you're looking for that first full-time job. What was your first full-time job?
My first full-time job was actually working for the city and county of San Francisco and their police department.
Okay.
I did that for about a year and then became a legal secretary for 7 years. So I took a little hiatus from recreation, but never had as much fun as I did as I do now back in recreation.
Yeah. So you see this job pop open at City of Burlingame, right? And it's for a coordinator position. What originally went through your mind when you first saw that?
Yeah. So working as a legal secretary, it was a great job. I did it for 7 years. I enjoyed it. I got to meet a lot of great people, learn a lot about a lot of different industries, but I just wasn't having fun. And it took a while. I mean, all through, and I love having fun. So I was like, I get back to having fun. How do I bring back those days of working in a place that I loved working, such as Camp Mather, and then also I was a building attendant for the city of Roanoke Park throughout college as well. And I just remember loving going to work. I loved the people I worked with. I loved the community that we were creating. So when I started feeling like I wasn't doing what I was put on this earth to do, I started looking for different jobs and looking for jobs that I could have fun doing. And it wasn't until I saw the job opening for the city of Burlingame recreation coordinator that I was like, wait, this can be a full-time job. It took me about 10 years to realize that recreation and having fun is a career. And it was so amazing that I decided to apply. I had no idea what I was doing. I was talking to a lot of people in recreation that I've kept in touch with. They're like, oh, it's going to be really competitive. A lot of people go to school to be in recreation. A lot of people don't have the path that you have.
People can have jobs and go to school for this?
I was like, what? I had no idea. So decided to take a jump and decided to apply. And City of Burlingame took a chance on me, someone with a little bit of experience in recreation, but always part-time. And the job opening, it couldn't have been more geared towards me. It felt like it was a position that they already knew that it was for me. It was overseeing senior programming, our community garden, and building attendance, a few other things, but those were like the bread and butter. But it was the seniors that I was like, yes, I know that this is going to be for me. And I'm really happy that my passion showed in those interviews where they decided to choose me, because I know that it was a very competitive.
So take me back to like the feeling, maybe that first day or that first week in Burlingame. Like, was there like a sense of like just relief, like you had found your spot and you kind of had found the right place, or what were you feeling at the time?
Yeah, walking in, I knew that I was in the right spot. There's still a little bit of imposter syndrome, especially hearing like people have their masters in recreation, people have gone to school for this. And I had to remind myself that my training and experience might be different than the other people I'm working with, but that doesn't mean that I don't have what it takes, and that I don't have the passion to bring amazing things to Burlingame. So that did take a little bit of time to get over, and proving it not only to my teammates, but to myself that I knew that this was supposed to be where I was supposed to be, and the job was tailor fit to me. And now I just needed to prove it to everyone else.
And do you feel like there's skills that you learned in PD that kind of directly affect you on a daily basis that either help support you in your job or help you kind of get ahead because you worked in PD over in San Francisco?
Yeah. Having to deal with true emergencies, life or death emergencies, really helps calm you when you have someone coming in and they think that what they're bringing is a life or death emergency. But normally in recreation, it's not truly life or death. It could be very important, and it could be something that needs to be figured out right away. But having that training and experience to calm myself down, to really figure out what is the solution to this, and trying not to run around like a chicken with your head cut off, or just really composing, realizing that it's still an important thing to find the solution as fast as possible. But being able to handle and not crack under pressure is something that I learned through my previous positions and previous jobs.
I love that. And what conference is this for you? How many conferences have you been to?
This is my third conference. My first one was Palm Springs.
Okay.
And then Sacramento last year, and now here in beautiful Long Beach.
And what's your overall impression? It's one thing to be a part of the smaller Parks and Recreation department just within your city, but when you come here and you see all of the different cities and you see all of the different people that all work in different communities through Parks and Recreation, what does that mean to you, or what does that say about the impact that you feel this profession makes?
You walk into a conference and you can just feel the vibration of people and the excitement and the passion and the love that people have for this profession. And it really does make you feel like you're part of something bigger than yourself. You walk in and you just hear the buzz in the room. People are talking to each other, people who've never met. People are hooping and hollering, having a great time. And it just really does make you feel small, but in a great way. Like you're such a part of something that's so much greater than yourself. And CPRS really brings that out, I think, in most people, but I definitely feel it every conference.
Yes, no, I agree. And obviously, I think people can hear in the background what's going on. And I think they can definitely hear that buzz and that vibration going on. So what's the next step in getting involved in CPRS? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that I definitely do want to dip my toes a little bit more into CPRS. I can see the amazing things that CPRS has done for people in their professional life and also in their personal life, hearing about the stories of how people have met their best friends through CPRS and through this profession. So I'll be looking for ways to get involved. I don't know if I'll be able to take on a huge position right now, but I definitely do see myself being a part of CPRS for a long, long time and trying to find ways to get in and find my path through within CPRS.
There's always a place.
There is.
Colleen, what I really like about your story is that it's not linear to like what we think is the formula to getting a full-time job in Parks and Recreation. I think we often feel like, we need to have those rec leader 1 through 3 experiences, working at those 2 different cities, right? We're always trying to like figure out what that formula is that gets us prepped for that first recreation coordinator role. And to me, you just being interested and having the passion of Parks and Recreation, even if it was just put on the back burner a little bit, for the career you got into, right? Like you can still use those skills as you go into Parks and Recreation. But it was ultimately like that passion, right? And that drive that brought you back to trying to apply for a job in this field, which
Definitely.
to me is great. I feel like there's so many different paths, and that's what I really wanted to show people is, there's not one way to do this and not one way to break into the Parks and Recreation field. And you're a classic example of that.
Well, thank you so much for letting me share my story.
Yeah. And last question before we wrap up, but what's your why? What now motivates you now being in this field? Feeling the passion and obviously loving where you're at. What is your why? What keeps you coming back and serving with 100% of heart each time?
My why is my family. I was lucky enough to have both of my grandmothers, for 34 years of my life. My dad's mom just passed away at 100 years old in 10 days last month. So I had a lot of time with her, but she's definitely my why. She's come to some of my senior programming in Burlingame, and just seeing how I interact with the community made her so proud. And I also see how people interacted with her. And I just want a safe spot for other people in the community that my grandma has really instilled in me. So every day getting up and doing what I do is definitely for my family, but especially for my grandmas.
That's great. Sorry. All right. Well, Colleen, thanks for sharing your story today.
Thank you so much, Ben.
Hopefully you've inspired at least one person. I know you've inspired me. So hopefully you've inspired at least 2. So that's a wrap. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Are you a vendor, brand, or service provider ready to connect with the heartbeat of local communities? At DPRS Media Co., we tell the stories shaping parks and recreation across America. Through podcasts, live streams, videos, and newsletters, we reach frontline leaders, city directors, and decision makers every single week. From youth sports and facilities to programming and policy, our audience is your audience. Sponsoring or partnering with DPRS Media Co. puts your brand in front of the professionals who build, budget, and buy for their communities. Launching a new product, growing your presence in public spaces, targeting cities, counties, or departments, DPRS is your trusted media partner. Whether you're in software, turf, aquatics, robotics, smart cities, or special events, partnering with DPRS puts your brand in the story. With commercials, interviews, social campaigns, newsletters, and live shows, we're your media team. Partner with us and grow your impact in the $200 billion parks and rec industry. DPRS Media Co. Stories that move parks and rec forward. Your audience is here. Let's meet them.